Hey there, I'm estate planning attorney Paul Rabelais, and in this video, I'm going to give you 21 compelling reasons to get your estate plan in order in the year 2021. All right, 2020, what a year. COVID, politics, COVID, lockdowns from an estate planning perspective, from a lawyer. Nobody wants to come in the office. Everything is done by phone, by video conference, by email, which really hasn't been that bad, quite frankly. But it's been a crazy year. So now I'm ready to look forward to 2021. I thought I'd kick it off by letting you know 21 reasons why you may be compelled to actually kind of get off the old hiney and get those legal affairs in order. And at the end, I'm going to ask you, what's that reason that might compel you with your specific circumstances to get your legal affairs in order. All right, let's jump right in with the 21 reasons. Number one is you may want to leave specific things to specific people. You may have that classic vehicle. Mom may have that china collection that she wants to keep in the family and wants to designate that it go to a certain special person. Otherwise, it's just going to get sold and sold for scraps. So there may be some reasons why you'd want to leave some specific things that you own to specific people. That's reason number one. You can do that through your will or through your trust, or in some states you can do it through what's called a tangible personal property memorandum. Make sure you get her done. Number two, make it easy for other people, if necessary, to make your healthcare decisions when you can't. This one ought to be obvious after all the COVID stuff that we've gone through in 2020. It can be real difficult for the people that you trust the most to get access to your medical records, to just talk to your doctor without you having the proper legal documentation in place to give those people that you choose the ability to talk to your doctors and make medical decisions. And maybe you'll do that through a healthcare power of attorney or a HIPAA authorization, or maybe you'll make end-of-life decisions known with a living will. Maybe you'll bundle all of those decisions in your advanced healthcare directive. Make sure you get that done. Reason number three to get an estate legal plan in order is to prevent disputes. Seems like everyone, and maybe I say it's everyone because people tell me all the time, everybody knows somebody who's been through a difficult estate settlement because of some dispute that popped up after somebody died. And now you can help avoid all of that by selecting the right people to be in charge of settling your estate when you die, selecting the right people to make your decisions when you can't, keeping your estate out of the court and attorney involved probate process, or perhaps even, depending upon your state, consider having a no contest clause in your will or trust so that if someone attempts to invalidate your will, they get nothing. So those are some things that you can do to prevent disputes. Reason number four, provide for grandchildren. These days, how in the world do you expect grandchildren to pay for college these days? The costs are enormous, and you expect them to get just student loans and pay for that for the rest of their career. You can really pay things forward by providing in your estate for grandchildren to get an education. Number five, provide for your spouse. Do you really want to lock your spouse out of your accounts, prevent your spouse from being able to sell your home or deal with your business without having to hire lawyers and deal with a overburdened court system and deal with judges? No, you can set up an estate planning program so that when you pass away, if you want to provide for your spouse, there's just a very simple transition so your spouse stays in control of things they need to stay in control of. Number six, avoid the government stating who gets your estate. You may think that, if you do nothing and you die, then maybe is it just a big money grab? Not necessarily. The government has a plan for you if you haven't put your own plan in place. You may not like the government's plan for who gets your stuff, so you need to be proactive and make sure you control who gets your estate instead of the government controlling who gets your estate. Number seven is make those end-of-life decisions known in case you get to the point, again, appropriately stated as we're in this COVID stuff, make those end-of-life decisions so that your loved ones aren't burdened with having to make that end-of-life decision to, quite frankly, terminate your life. If you ever get to that point where you are in that profound vegetative state, there's no chance of recovery, and the machines are serving only to artificially prolong that dying process. You need to make your wishes known, relieve your family members of that burden of having to make that decision. Reason number 8, provide for charity. I think it's actually pretty cool when someone says, when I pass away, I want X% or X dollars to go to my favorite church, my school, my university, my favorite cause. Talk about paying it forward. You can really do some good by providing for a charitable bequest, particularly if you leave that. There can be some really good tax advantages if you provide that the charity gets what they get out of your traditional 401k or your traditional IRA, lots of income tax savings there. Number 9, provide for who settles your estate when you pass away. That's a key designation. Don't leave it up to a judge to pick somebody who's in charge of settling your estate. You pick that person or persons or company that you'd want to designate that's organized, that gets things done, that has good communication skills with all of the heirs, good relationships with all of the heirs, provides for just a much smoother transition of that legacy from you to that next generation. Pick the right people. Reason number 10, avoid probate. Our court system's overcrowded. Lawyers, quite frankly, I'm a lawyer, but I know that, all across America, lawyers who deal in probate, it's expensive. Some of them actually don't give, the best of service. So you can arrange your estate so that when you pass away, accounts, other assets aren't frozen. You'll designate family members, perhaps, who can have that ability to instantly access things when you pass away. Make sure the estate distribution is all done, I's dotted, T's crossed, all outside of that court and attorney involvement. Reason number 11 in 2021 is provide for pets. You might be one of those people who, some people tell me they like their pets more than they like their kids. So some people, pets are everything to them. I got 2 of them. One's laying down on the floor right here. Some people want to, provide for the care of their pets even after they pass away by setting funds aside. There's a right and wrong way to do that, but that's another reason perhaps that may motivate you to get things in order. Number 12, take care of special needs beneficiaries. You may have disabled beneficiaries, disabled children, disabled grandchildren, disabled niece or nephew. And fortunately, they're getting some government benefit. But if you leave them an inheritance the wrong way, those benefits will be canceled. So taking care of those special needs beneficiaries the proper way can ensure that you're not preventing them from qualifying for government benefits, but you're enhancing the government benefits that they're receiving. So that's real important as well. Number 13, some people are compelled to create an estate plan because they want to exclude one or more children. I've been dealing with estate planning for 30 years. We have a joke around the office that I've been doing this for 30 years and I'm still trying to find the first normal family. Hadn't found it yet. But, it's sad, but sometimes parents are estranged from their children. Whose fault is that? I'm not going to get into that because, a lot of factors there. But sometimes it just becomes appropriate for parents to arrange in their estate legal plan to either minimize or flat out exclude a children, from the estate. So only way to do that is to be proactive and put those things in order. Number 14, if you are a little bit younger, and maybe in your 30s, maybe in your 40s, maybe in your 50s, and you probably are if you're watching this on a YouTube channel, you may have minor children. So you want to make sure you set up your estate legal program to name guardians for those minor children. You get to pick who will raise your children. Don't put that in the hands of a judge to select who's going to be the parents of your children, your minor children in your absence. You need to be proactive. Number 15, for those of you who have children perhaps a little older, you may want to make sure your children's inheritance is divorce proof. You may roll over in your grave if you leave, $1 million to your daughter, and then years later your daughter gets divorced and your ex-son-in-law winds up with half of the inheritance. You can be proactive, make sure that inheritance stays in the bloodlines, make sure any failed marriages of your children don't impact the inheritance that you leave to your children. Number 17 is who handles your money when you can't. So if you have a stroke, if you get sick, if you get Alzheimer's, you get old and you're not able to pay your bills, sign things that require your signature, Again, don't force your family to have to go through a court process to have you declared legally incompetent and have a judge appoint your legal guardian. You can be proactive in things like using like powers of attorney and living trusts and other vehicles so that you control who handles all those decisions when you can't. Number 18, provide for an easy transition of a family business if you happen to own a family business. Nothing worse than a business owner dying, everything's locked up, nobody can do anything, the business can't be sold, there's a buyer, but it just can't be sold, and the value of the business is going down and down and down by the hour. So make sure you arrange your business in a way and have it titled in a way so that the people that you'd want to be able to transition that business will have access and the ability to do so immediately. Coming down to the tail end here, reason number 19 is, quite frankly, doesn't have anything to do with the legal documents. Number 19 reason for getting your estate legal program in order is so that you can communicate your thoughts, your wishes, your desires to those people who mean the most to you. That may be more valuable to those people than any amount of money that you leave them. Is as part of really an overall estate planning program, not is it good enough just to have all these legal documents in place, but to also communicate, what these people mean to you, what your intentions are for what you're leaving to them. So communicating those thoughts and wishes can be a powerful part of anybody's overall estate planning legal program. Reason number 20, avoid probate. So when you die with assets in your name, even if you have a will, if there's assets in your name when you die, they're going to be frozen. Certain assets that you have are going to be frozen. And then your survivors have to hire lawyers like me. We've got to file all these court pleadings, and we've got to get judges involved, and we've got to wait, and we've got to wait, and we have to pay expenses. And so you can arrange your estate so all that stuff is avoided. That's all the avoiding probate. And reason number 21 is a little bit sensitive issue, but it's the protect your children's inheritance from your surviving spouse's remarriage. Nothing worse, and if I've seen it once, I've seen it 1,000 times. And you know what? I've seen it 1,000 times. Dad dies, he leaves everything to mom, mom remarries, mom dies, mom leaves everything to second husband, children of dad, Zippo. So you can do things like, for example, dad provided in his estate planning legal program that when he died, he made assets in his estate available and made distributions available to mom for her needs. But perhaps if mom remarries, those distributions to mom stop in order to protect the children's future inheritance. Okay, so there's your 21 reasons. I have a favor I need to ask, and quite frankly, it's a good little exercise for you. You may benefit. What I'd like to see you do in the comments below is I'd like for you to give us your most compelling reason why you either already have or plan to have an estate planning program in place. It could be one of the 21 that I mentioned, or it could be one that I haven't even mentioned, but real important to me. And I'll see that you did it because I'll see your name and I'll probably even reply to it. And thank you for doing that. But it's going to let other people know, what are people thinking these days about estate planning? So in the comments below, just type in what do you think is that biggest benefit you would want out of getting an estate plan in order, or what's the most important reason or most compelling reason that might drive you to actually get or keep, your estate in order. So just put that in the comments below. Y'all have a great 2021. I got big plans for my YouTube channel here in 2021. We'll see you next time.